Memorial Day is right around the corner. Thus, Murph will be performed by thousands of people across the world. I'm going to provide in this video 10 ways to optimize your game day performance on Murph. So hopefully you can perform at your best, be prepared for unexpected challenges, and show up, give your best, and feel great about your effort, because that's really what counts. That's what matters in the end. Okay, number one, and this is especially for those who plan to go the pull-up route, hand care. Hand care before, so 5 to maybe a week, 5 days to maybe 7 days out. Take care of your calluses. The last thing you want to do is have your hands rip in a long workout where you're going to have to use them for a lot of reps. So we'll shoot a separate video here that you'll see shortly on hand care and how to perform hand care. At a bare minimum, file your hands down, but it would be great to level the hands out by removing the thickness of your calluses and then file, and then start to restore the hands with some bag balm or some form of cream that helps the skin begin to rebuild. And that's 5 to 7 days before. Now during, if you're doing pull-ups, you might want to wear grips, especially if your calluses are built up, just as another layer of protection. Some people prefer gloves. That can work as well, but think about hand maintenance, especially if you're going the pull-up route. Number two is fuel up appropriately. So if you're one of those folks that are going to do Murph super early and you're not going to have a time to eat a meal about 90 minutes maybe before this long endurance style, muscular endurance style event, then what I would do is really bring in a good balanced meal that has a good amount of carbohydrates and protein the night before as your final meal. So some of the glycogen stores can help carry you into the morning of. If you are and do have the luxury to eat a meal before, make sure that it has some protein, but a good amount of digestible carbohydrates, because that's going to be your main fuel source for this 30, 40, 50 minute style workout. So fuel is appropriate. Also, we're going to kind of touch on this a little bit later, but make sure you bring something. It would be ideal to bring a immediate carb and protein source for directly after. So, you finish, you take your 15 to 20 minutes and high five and talk with your friends. But shortly thereafter, you're going to want to start to replenish the energy that you just expended, the hydration process, as well as get some protein in to go to the broken down muscle tissue. So think about that too, so planning ahead. Number 3 is hydration. So typically Memorial Day can be very hot across the world. I know it's hot upstate New York, and it sometimes has peaked. It's been extremely hot. So in thinking and preparing for that, you're gonna sweat, you're gonna lose a lot of water. You want to start hydrating, and you really want to pay attention to your hydration, I would say at least 3 days prior. So start the uptick of water, start paying attention more to your hydration, and obviously getting those fluids out. Make sure your urine is more clear, or less yellow, more clear. And obviously morning of, especially if you're someone who has coffee or relies on coffee in the morning, that's going to dehydrate you. So make sure you get the process of hydration going again with some water, and that you have water throughout the Murph workout itself for before, during, and you can refill obviously as well. Hydration plays a big role. Okay. Pro tip: when you're doing, to keep moving, hydrate during your air squats so you don't have to waste time stopping movement or ceasing movement altogether. I love doing that. Number 4, and this one is to help performance, get a good night's sleep the night before. So I know Murph can obviously be it strikes a lot of nerves, gets us nervous, but we all will perform and our bodies will feel better under a good night's sleep. Ideally that's 7-8 hours. So shoot for your best night's sleep. Anything that's disrupted obviously is not going to be optimal, could trigger into our performance not being the way that we want or performing the way that we want to. And obviously any form of disruption of sleep plays a role in increasing chances of things going away in our bodies that we don't necessarily want to. So put all the chips on your side and get a good night's sleep. Okay, morning of now. Ideally, you wake up early enough where there's some time to consume some food, but also don't slip on some morning movement or even mobility work. Murph has a ton of volume between the running contractions and then all the pulling, pressing, and squatting repetitions adding up. Now, in most gyms, in a good gym, you're going to do some form of 10-minute dynamic warm-up and then shortly and cover the movement standards and some of the adjustments that we need to do and get those movements primed, and then we're moving. You're moving, you're right into Murph. So as we get older, 30s, 40s, and beyond, we need more time to prepare the body. And with it being a high volume style workout, what I would recommend is you get up or you block some time off in the morning to do maybe first start with a little bit of mobility in your trouble areas. Maybe it's your lats and that can impede your overhead position. Maybe it's your legs, you need a couch stretch. Maybe your knees get tight or feel a little stiff in the morning, or your quads or your hips. But pick 2 or 3, maybe 1 or 2 lower body, 1 or 2 upper body in terms of mobility. And then some light movement. Light movement would be things like your warm-up movements, maybe some inchworms, maybe get your calves and your soleus primed through some tib raises. You're going to be doing a lot of work through the shoulders, so simple, shoulder circles. Even though you might repeat some of that stuff at the gym, your body would really appreciate getting some blood flow, some circulation, and getting the joints ready for all the volume that's about to come. Number 6, plan ahead for what you're going to need. Now, this could look like I'm going to need water. I'm going to need a towel because it's going to get sweaty, or I'm a sweaty person. I might need grips if I'm doing pull-ups. I might need sunglasses if it's super sunny and I don't want the sun to, blind me. You might want to prepare ahead of time a sheet to track your rounds, because it's very easy to lose track of your rounds or your reps throughout a workout where you're doing a lot of counting. 600 repetitions of counting. It's very easy with fatigue and the psyche of the workout to lose track. So it might be worthwhile if you go the typical route of 20 rounds of 5, 10, 15, or even 5 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, 5 push-ups, 15 squats, something like that. It's still 20 rounds. To create a little sheet with your name on it and mark, 21 through 20 in circles. And then you can just take a pen and cross it off as you're making your way from your push-ups to your squats. So it helps you keep track of a workout, or whatever style of system counting works well for you. You might want to bring a change of clothes, a shirt, anything like that for after, and definitely a post-workout shake and some sort of easy carb source. Applesauce, banana, a fruit is usually typically easy as well. Number 7, think about the workout and set a flexible goal. This could be a time goal, but give yourself a range. I never or coach a fixed target, like I want to do it in 35 minutes. Well, if it takes you 40, does that mean that it wasn't a great effort? No. So give yourself a range of, in the range would be, I would be over the moon with this, and I would be happy with this range. And that's a realistic range. And obviously you want to give yourself flexibility there. So maybe in a perfect world, it's a 40-minute workout for you. You'd be over the moon with that. Knowing yourself, your mile time and kind of times and the work that it's going to take you to do. And then maybe the other end of the spectrum is 50 minutes. So you have this floating scale. Okay. It might not even be a time goal. It might be I really want to stay in a positive headspace, or I want to do all my pulling reps unbroken, stuff like that. But set something that's specific to you. Maybe you don't want to walk on the second mile. I know that second mile truly challenges the mental, the physical. That is, to me, the hardest part of Murph. You do all this work and then you have to go out. It's hot and you have to run a second mile. And a lot of people are pushed to want to walk. So that could be to be mentally strong and not allow yourself to do that. So set a goal or a couple goals and be flexible with them. Number 8 is communicate with your coaches. And what I mean by this is communicate your goal, communicate what's important to you, communicate maybe some trouble spots that you could see arising. Oh, my push-ups, I'm a little worried about my push-ups. Okay, cool. I'm going to keep an eye on them and, what can be helpful. Maybe it's a rest cadence. Maybe it's a particular movement itself, performance, but that's great to know. Or communicate with your coaches if you're not feeling the greatest that day, or if you want that extra nudge, that extra push, because it is for someone who made the ultimate sacrifice and you want to demand a little bit more of yourself that day. So just find something that you think is important to communicate to your coaches so everybody can be on the same page, okay? That was number 8. Number 9 is the mentality. The mentality that I believe needed to thrive in any sort of difficulty, but especially a workout like Murph that challenges and tests every fitness level, from the brand new person to the experienced person who it's their 12th Murph, is expect adversity. Expect adversity and welcome the adversity. And what I mean by that is things may be harder than you expected. Things might not go the way you had planned. You might not get your favorite pull-up spot. It might be hotter. You might lose count. Your grips might rip, or you're even, worst case scenario, maybe you're doing pull-ups and your hands rip, right? Expect the adversity and knowing that I have more in me, and this is all temporary. And I always put out there, how will your best self show up in those moments of adversity? If you were able to watch it back or show people you love, your kids, your friends, your peers, your parents, whoever, how would you want to be seen as showing up in moments of difficulty, of adversity? It could be that second run when you go out the door and you're in the blind spot and nobody can see you, and your mind's like, walk, just walk. Your legs are tired, and you don't do it. Something like that. It could be that. It could be something totally different. But I encourage and challenge everybody to allow your best self to show up. And the last is the post-workout protocol. So this isn't necessarily about optimizing Murph itself performance. It's the after performance. And a couple things I like to point out here. Number 1 is reflect more on the effort and what you're proud of than the actual result itself, the time. The time is just a reflection of how long it took you in this particular day and state to do the work. But what's really important is, where were the mental victories? Where were the physical victories? What are you proud of yourself today that you can call upon? And if you need to address things, where is there room to improve, or where can I get better? Of course, if you're willing, obviously open that door as well. A couple other things to consider. Murph, again, is a lot of volume, a lot of contractions through the feet, the calves, through the pressing muscles, the pulling muscles, your chest, your shoulders, your triceps, your lats, and obviously squatting, your glutes, your hips, and your quads. So your body goes through quite the ringer. And I know this may be an unpopular opinion, and breaking Murph with a beer and going into something like that is not ideal for your recovery. While in the moment it's celebratory, the first things that I would do would be to get some rehydration in, some water, a shake, and some carbohydrate source to repair the broken down tissue and get the energy stores back up. I'm not saying don't enjoy yourself and don't enjoy your environment with your people, but take the recovery part serious, because that then is going to affect the next 2, 3, or even the full week of training for you that a lot of people don't consider or factor in. So when they underperform on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday, it's because you've improperly recovered, which you could have prevented. So in a nutshell, those are 10 things to help you optimize the before, the during, and the after for your Memorial Day Murph performance. Again, go out there, give your best effort, be proud of that, and I hope this helped you.